What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. We are at Game 3 out of the best of 3 in the losers bracket. So whoever loses this is going to be out of the Battle of Central Europe. Whoever wins is going to remain in the losers bracket to fight more and more best of 3s. Here on HeflaTV, Hitbox 1, this is the last game. I'm Mike Loris, got Grandis here as well, and this time, man, this time Phoenix is not being first banned by mYinsanity.
We'll see if it's going to be left in the pool, but mYinsanity also have first pick, so Komanda Minus are given that choice to ban out Phoenix. I'm crossing my fingers, and hopefully it's here, but for the first time in this series, Visage taken out in the first stage by mYinsanity. It's going to be an Ogre ban, leaving the Firebird available. If either side wants to even pick it up, maybe it's just going to be ignored. I don't know.
I hope it's not. I mean, if you first ban it, you kind of have to pick it, guys. Someone has to, for sure. But either way, I do like the Visage ban. As nice as the Visage Drow combo is, we just saw in last game mYinsanity, just with the Visage by himself, was doing so much work. The familiar scouting at the very least, the amount of damage they did, as well as the stuns, it was just way too much to deal with for both games. Like game number 1, game number 2, Visage was probably doing the most damage or doing the most work for either team. So I think that ban is perfectly justified, and out of all the heroes available for mYinsanity, they pick up an Earthshaker once again.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a nice hero, but is it nice enough to warrant the first pick? I'm not so sure. I don't know. We've kind of been seeing Earthshaker fluctuate as far as popularity is concerned. Some days he's going to be completely ignored, and other days he's going to be first pick. It just depends on what the mood is. Komanda Minus, they're going to start out this draft with a Jakiro first, and then a Abaddon next. Okay, so Jakiro is fairly standard. What are your thoughts on this Abaddon?
It is very clear what Komanda Minus are going to try to do now. They want to push. They want to get the death ball rolling. I think you could always get Abaddon later if you really want to, and it seems like they really want to, but it seems to be an integral part of their draft. I mean, it's going to prompt an Ancient Apparition pick. I mean, that's pretty clear for mYinsanity right now, and this is going to be a very aggressive game from Komanda Minus, but they could have hidden this a little bit better.
Fair enough, and yeah, we'll just have to see how it's going to work out for them. I don't really like approaching the Abaddon this early on. I think you could still build a lineup around it and bank on him not being banned out. Unless the enemy team is planning on picking a Mirana, I think Abaddon ban is just so unlikely. Next phase of bans are going by fairly quickly. Necrophos, Death Prophet, and Faceless Void all taken out of the pool, and some fairly heavy-hitting heroes at that.
And I like the Death Prophet ban the most out of this one. Obviously, it's a very, very strong hero, but also in the Death Ball lineup is just perfect. Necrophos is very similar in that regard. Not as much direct pushing power when you compare him to the Death Prophet, but still it's the amount of sustain that he lends to your team. Probably won't be too much of a concern for mYinsanity given the Ancient Apparition pick already, but still is something to keep in mind for them. For Komanda Minus, they're going to make sure that they don't get locked down when they try to go for these pushes. So no Chronosphere, no Ravage. As best as they can, they're going to try to protect themselves versus large team fight.
Yep. For now, Komanda Minus do have the choice of what they want in this next stage, and I think this game Phoenix might just be completely ignored by either side. I'm not sure if he fits in the plan for either team, but we'll just have to see. I think if they pick it, it'll probably be an offlaner, but Komanda Minus, they're going to put their faith into Templar Assassin, presumably played by Kikoni. When I saw it, it was very lackluster, and it seems that Kikoni, if he gets off to an early start, can completely explode and be a very flashy player, but if his start is subpar, his play is also affected very heavily.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair read on the player, and also the heroes that he plays as well. Like Templar Assassin, if you get off to a slow start, you're going to be doing nothing unless you want to try to go for the late game and grab a Midas or something like that, which is certainly possible to do, but with an Abaddon Jakiro on your team, you don't want to be going down that route. So I expect to see this Templar Assassin to be played very aggressively by Komanda Minus, and mYinsanity, they have some okay counters versus Templar Assassin, lots of stuns. The Razor is going to be the big one. If TA does go towards the mid lane, and it seems like it's looking like that, Razor just stomps Templar Assassin so easily.
Yeah, and I think that it might prompt Komanda Minus into switching around their lanes a little bit and moving the Templar Assassin towards the safe lane, just to make sure that they don't get the Razor versus Templar Assassin matchup. Razor really has nothing to fear up against the Templar Assassin. She has to come up close to the creep wave to get the CS, and that's an opening to get off the Slardar, huh? Yeah, the static link on a Templar Assassin, which makes it impossible for TA to get the farm, but Slardar's a choice for Komanda minus. It seems that they just want to get all up in the face of mYinsanity and completely crush the opposition. A lot of minus armor coming out from Meld as well as from the amplified damage of Slardar, and they have the Abaddon to keep themselves alive. I don't know, it's pretty risky for Komanda minus to go for this, and I like mYinsanity's draft just because it looks a little bit more stable with these first 3 picks, and that might change as the picks progress. But that is a scary amount of damage.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think if I was asked to say which team would win off of these drafts, I would say mYinsanity. But I like Komanda Minus's draft more just because it is so crazy and we don't get to see this all that often. So definitely a nice change of pace as far as that is concerned. As far as winning the game, that's a different question entirely. They're kind of reliant now on the Templar Assassin a lot more than ordinary. Slardar will be able to pick up some of the slack, but not that much. Do you think it might even be a support Jakiro in this case? Because as a core hero, he doesn't really fit in with what Komanda Minus are trying to do.
Yeah, I'm feeling the support Jakiro. Follow up after a crush from the Slardar once you get the Blink Dagger, maybe get some levels into Liquid Fire, but it's more or less just going to be a little bit of extra utility for them. As far as supports that can do things with just levels, Jakiro's a pretty good one. I don't really like the pick, however, with the other 3 heroes. I also don't think that they're going to run it as a core. I think that's a little too greedy, and we're probably looking for another offlaner for them.
Right, so Jakiro just as a support then is okay at poking and prodding at the lane, and Abaddon is going to be played very defensively as you don't really have many options with that hero, so it is going to be kind of just Komanda Minus playing it very slow in the early game stages until they get to their Blink Daggers or until they just get more levels up in general. This, a stray Ice Path or a stray Crush can very easily lead into kills if you find it, but it seems unlikely that that's going to happen. Even though their Slardar might be getting a Blink Dagger, maybe Komanda Minus will benefit from a little bit more initiation. Something Batrider-y or Centaur-y, maybe?
Batrider-y, Centaur-y sounds nice. I think they can comfortably leave both of them in the pool up against mYinsanity, even though they're probably looking for an offlaner of their own. I think mYinsanity will ban one out as well, and that'll leave Komanda Minus their choice of whichever one to pick. Up against the Slark, Batrider becomes a little bit less attractive since packing off the lasso is fairly easy, but then again, you have a hard disable against the Slark, and you can't really be sad about that. Centaur's not going to be banned by mYinsanity and is available for Komanda Minus if they want to pick it up.
So we got some options now for both sides, really. Dazzle's going to be banned out. I guess maybe mYinsanity are still expecting the Jakiro to be played as core, which is certainly a possibility. In which case, as far as minus armor supports go, I believe Dazzle's the only one. At least that's the only one that easily comes to mind. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but we both agree that Jakiro is probably better off in a different role. It does make sense to play a core Jakiro, given his first pick, but it is going to be a support hero after all. It's a Skywrath Mage. This is kind of weird. They have a lot of minus armor, but not many heroes that can actually benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, Templar Assassin and Slardar are decent from benefiting from that minus armor, but they really need Blink Daggers to get in position. And now with the Venomancer pick for mYinsanity, it seems that Komanda Minus are just going to be kited indefinitely.
Man, this is going to be a very interesting game. mYinsanity have so much control over these fights, and Komanda Minus, they're going to have to just doomball and hope it all works out. With this Skywrath Mage pick, it will allow them to play potentially a little bit more aggressive, as Skywrath Mage is able to do that pretty much just on his own, but I don't know. Komanda Minus, I feel like they're kind of pulling in 2 different directions right now. We have the Jakiro and Abaddon, which are like, oh, we're going to go push things. Then you have the Templar Assassin and Slardar, which are like, oh, we just want to play the minus armor strategy and try to take it a little bit later. It may work out for them, but it just seems like mYinsanity have a lot more cohesive strategy.
Yeah, and Skywrath Mage in that is kind of just an awkward middleman that doesn't really know where to go. As for mYinsanity, they have a lot of magic damage, some good control inside the team fights. Their lanes look really solid as well. I think my bets with them as well. mYinsanity, the heroes that are going to be played currently, we have the Earthshaker by Peace, our support, Ancient Apparition by Lizard, Mitch going to be playing on the Venomancer, Joey on the Razor, and all eyes on me on the Slark. No matter which one of these heroes gets matched up against the Templar Assassin, it's not a pretty picture for the TA, and Kikoni's going to have a pretty difficult time going in mid lane, and it looks like he expects to be up against the Razor with the boots first opening.
I mean, that's probably the best you could hope for the lanes, or as far as loadouts are concerned. you can't really do too much to overpower the Razor. You can't really defend yourself against the Razor, so you might as well just keep out of range. And Kekoni's going to try his best for that one. It looks like Hawkeye's going to be playing the Jakiro. We have Insolent currently sprinting down towards the bottom lane as Slardar. Poison and Pure Evil still in the base as the supports Abaddon and Scarith Mage, but I mean, even if he does have boots first, it's still going to be just such a difficult lane for the Templar Assassin. And as we said, if you don't get off to a good start as TA, you're probably not going to be doing too much.
Yeah. For now, the lanes coming up from Komanda Minus are going to be dual lanes, with Abaddon Jakiro going towards top, and that feels pretty right. And then bottom lane, it's a Scarith Mage and Slardar, also not a bad lane. So this is going to be terrible for Komanda Minus, but even though their lanes in isolation work pretty well, once they group up and start looking for fights, I don't know, they just need a little bit more than mYinsanity to come online. Once mYinsanity have like level 6 on most of their heroes, they can fight comfortably, and even before then, their skills are just all around really solid and can look for kills pretty effectively. But in fact, it's going to be dual lanes for mYinsanity as well, with Earthshaker, Venomancer down bottom, and Slark and Ancient Apparition up top. The fights should be isolated in these lanes with very little room for rotations from both sides.
Slark AA is one of the more dangerous lanes that you could possibly find yourselves going up against. But the bottom lane, Shaker as well as Venomancer, I mean, it's dangerous for sure, but it's not as dangerous. And it actually does allow Komanda Minus to have a little bit more room if they find themselves a couple of openings. Then killing off Shaker or killing off Venomancer is certainly very possible. Shout out to all 5 viewers. Yeah, we got a lot more than 5 viewers in this game, Lizard. How many do we have, actually? Yeah, we got
105.
It's like, yeah, plus 100, Lizard. I'm just going to tell him plus 100.
Very well.
At the very least. And kind of unrelated, is your OD skin not working anymore?
My OD skin, yeah, it's completely broken.
Darn. I mean, I didn't even notice that until, like, I looked at the stream. I'm like, wait, these colors aren't right. These colors are not right. So we got to fix that
it's...
stuff.
Okay, so yours is not showing up at all.
Yeah.
Mine is bugged. So, like, the icons changed position slightly in the patch, and so the icons are smaller, but there's no background behind the, like, the damage and the strength stuff.
Huh. That's weird. So what you're saying is that the game is broken and we should just all go home now?
Maybe. I don't know, this patch seems really unstable, and I expect some little fixes here and there throughout the next week.
Or hopefully, well, everything just fixes itself so that we don't actually have to do anything, because I don't want to install more skins or whatever. That's just more work that I don't want to do. Work sucks. Doing anything that even resembles work sucks, but we're here for Game 3, guys, and maybe we'll get this game going eventually, and it looks like we will. Just off of these dual lanes alone, what do you think is going to be the state of the game? Who do you think is going to take the early lead?
I think it's going to be mYinsanity. Mid lane should be a convincing win for Joey. Top lane should be a win for All Eyes on Me and Lizard. And even though bottom lane isn't going to crush, it's still going to do pretty decently. Slardar is going to be zoned every once in a while by Venomancer, and although they have some openings to look for kills, especially on the Earthshaker, especially with this block coming out from Earthshaker at the early levels and just getting the creep even closer to tower, I think mYinsanity have set themselves up in a situation where they can feasibly win all 3 of the lanes. Warding battle in mid, looking to get the Observer down. Who's going to win? It is going to be Abaddon, killing off the Observer beforehand, and the sentry is denied by Lizard, and now he's going to eat quite a bit of damage on top of it from the Abaddon, forced to munch through a handful of his tangos.
And it is going to be Abaddon taking an Observer ward kill, whereas Ancient Apparition killed off a sentry. So Abaddon, I guess, getting a little bit paid off from that, and you know, you could leave the sentry here if you're Komanda Minus. That is literally doing nothing for your team, or against your team rather. And we actually do see a little bit of rotation right now. Insolent is going to be left on the bottom lane, solo Slardar right now versus Mitch. That in and of itself is not going to be the most fun. When you have the fissure threat, it gets even worse. Over towards mid, it has been transformed into a 2v2 scenario, and then up towards top, it's a 2v1. These lanes I don't think are going to settle for a very long time, as everyone's going to be rotating around just trying to gain a marginal edge. Right now we even have 3 heroes in the mid lane. Kekoni is going to not be in for the happiest of times, but I don't really think there was any way of guaranteeing a Templar Assassin a good time in this game.
Not really. And honestly, I'm surprised how well he's done in the first couple of waves. Even just up against the Razor, he got off a Link, but Templar Assassin's still able to CS pretty well. He's currently 4 and 6, and Razor's been more highly prioritizing the Harass, and even though the charge of that refraction doesn't last for much long, or for very long. The damage coming out from Templar Assassin is still pretty solid, and Kikoni's doing well. Let's see if he's going to be able to maintain that.
Well, up towards the top, it's going to be a dual lane of Poison and Hawkeye, who are putting a lot of harassment damage into this Slark. Only has one Tango left. I didn't really see how much he started out with, but I could assume that it was quite a bit, because he's been taking a lot of dots over, and he's been really suffering because of it. And Hawkeye Liquid Fire is only level 1, so things are even going to get worse from here on out as they do try to go for this Slark dive a little bit. They're going to instead run to Lizard, and this is not really a fight that Jakiro wants to be taking right now. He's going to back off for the moment.
Bottom?
It's going to be that bottom lane. Yeah, Mitch going to get hit with the crush concussive shot as well. One more right click's going to do him in. Pure Evil draws first blood, I think, for the second time in this best of 3.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to keep track of all of the lanes in a dual lane setup. Fights can break out very easily, and it looks like they just got Venomancer out in a really awkward position, gets crushed down by Slardar. Only 1 point in the sprint was all that they really needed. That's going to be first blood going their way. Scarlet Mage can make use of that first blood pretty effectively. Any extra items that you have on Scarlet are never a bad thing, but now crucially as is level 3, and there is potential to kill off, especially the Earthshaker is only level 2, concuss shot into the crush after sprinting into him. He's not going to be standing for very long.
I was actually really surprised that they actually got that kill. I saw Scarlet Mage picked up a bounty rune, and well, that doesn't actually do anything for you when you're playing aggressively, so maybe if that was an invis rune, that would have made a lot more sense. Just random concussive shot out of nowhere. You can't really react against that, but man, dying versus just a straight up lane gank from Pure Evil is not the way you want to go as any hero, let alone a Venomancer, who should be holding control of this lane very easily. Slardar is going to get a couple more levels here and there, and well, it's off to Komanda minus off to a good start, and this is the difference that we saw in game number 1 and game number 2. Game number 1, their start was as perfect as can be. Game number 2, it was a little bit more rocky, and well, they won game number 1 and they lost game number 2. It seems like this team is just so heavily momentum based just in how they play.
Yeah, and Kikoni's actually winning mid at 3 minutes in. I was expecting Joey to completely be running everything. It's currently just in a 1v1 situation. Kikoni's 16 and 11 compared to the 8 and 4 of Joey, and after getting some of his experience, Leech was an advantage in that respect, and even once stealing 28 damage, Kikoni's able to maintain his CS just by spamming out Refraction. Now at the bottle, Kikoni's going to be able to maintain that, so even though on paper Razor really heavily shuts down Templar Assassin, Kikoni is being able to pull it ahead.
I think we have the boots to thank for that for Kikoni. I mean, if he didn't have those, he would always be losing the damage. And speaking of losing damage, Poison going to try to suicide onto Lizard, but that's not going to happen. Now the meld hit onto Joey. Kikoni's very quickly losing damage, but he will have just enough to kill off the Razor. Actually, Scarlet Mage will have enough to kill off the Razor, making it a 1-for-1 in the North River area. But it is Razor going down, so even more free time for Kikoni to get a little bit more traction on this lane, because getting a kill at Razor at any stage of the game is going to be very nice. We do see Yes Piece with an Invis rune going to be spotting out for Pure Evil Fissure. Perfect block is there, and Pure Evil is now almost assuredly going to fall, although missed from Joey twice, and he's going to let Pure Evil escape. It's a little bit unlucky. Now Kikoni looking to turn things around onto Lizard, has no more aggressive stacks of that Refraction, and now is getting his damage drained, will be forced to fall back, but even off of a pretty nice Fissure, Pure Evil fast enough to get away because of those early kills. He has very early brown boots.
Yeah, it was a good block, but not perfect. They kind of needed to delay him here to where he couldn't squeeze through that area, and well, Scarlet Mage is going to be surviving. Now going aggressively onto mid. Silenced up, concussed shot, crush from the Slaughter. The Fissure's going to block both of them onto the same side, which is probably as best they can hope for. The salve up coming up from the Venomancer is not enough to save him. Pure Evil has managed to secure all 3 of the kills that Komanda Minus have been able to get up until this point.
And it's not like he's just randomly running in and kill stealing them either. He is actively making these kills happen on the bottom lane. Maybe the top river area, you could say that he stole that kill, but that's a very slim argument at that. So 3-1 for Komanda Minus, and there's Scarlet Mage already with Arcane Boots. So he is going to have to base soon enough because he's out of health regen, but this Scarlet Mage is going to be able to apply very constant amounts of pressure to pretty much whatever lane he wants to go for. Like, if he wants to go into top lane, dump his mana pool onto the Slark and just run away, that's something that Scarlet Mage now can do, and because he has so much of that mana, it's going to be very hard hitting, and already Slark is not having the best of times up here. 16 for 4 versus the 17 for 4, it's relatively even, but I mean, Jakiro is going to get closer and closer to that tower push, so Slark needs to get something going on.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's going to be able to do that. However, Slark, although he can be a really flashy hero, getting a Blink Dagger first might be a little bit too long. I don't know. The other lanes just aren't doing well enough to really let Slark comfortably sit back and farm up, and he's also not doing that well in his lane either. Currently farming evenly with the Jakiro, which really isn't super expected, but not unexpected either. Lizard silenced up, Arcane Bolt as well as the Mist Coil. They'll be able to bring him down even before the Chilling Touch comes out.
And that's very easily done. Now Kokoni gonna chase down Joey and towards mid. Haste Rune is there, and Templar Assassin is gonna get a solo kill versus Razor. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen before this early on in the game. That quite honestly should not be happening, but Haste Rune lets you do some pretty crazy things as TA.
It seems that the momentum is just all in the favor of Komanda Minus, and this is where they're comfortable, just getting some really snowball-heavy heroes and get that early advantage. Insolent is presumably saving up for a Blink Dagger, currently pooling about 1,500 gold. That's going to come out at a decent timing for the Slardar. Templar Assassin does go for the face boots first, and I'm not sure it really matters where Kokoni builds from here, if he just goes for the race car build or for a Blink of his own. Komanda Minus, they're just finding so much more than I thought they would. These lanes on paper for mYinsanity should be doing well. There's a Fissure, it lands onto 2. It is going to catch a Pure. There's the ultimate for Mitch. DP attempt coming up from Insolent. It is not going to be cancelled as Urshigar has no points into Enchant Totem. However, with the poison, they'll be able to kill off Pure Evil, ending his killing spree.
Yeah, I think that was a very smart move from the Slardar, getting out of there as soon as that Nova was thrown out. If you disrespect the Nova, you're probably going to end up going down. But speaking of going down, Kokoni, fighting up against All Eyes on Me, is now sitting in the meld, has another refraction, but he has to worry about this plasma field and another pounce eventually. He will get stunned with the fissure, still the defensive charges hold, not for much longer though. He's very quickly going to take a fall as Slark makes a rotation out of top lane. That's something you don't really expect as any hero, and while Templar Assassin up against that damage over time, or I guess quick damage of the Pact, really can't do much about that.
Really not. All of the heroes on mYinsanity have good ways to deal with the refraction charges coming out from Templar Assassin. Earthshaker is the least of those, but even like his ultimate and the Aftershock, it's separate damage and can eat through it decently well, but especially the Dark Pact, the Venomancer, Ancient Apparition, defensive charges aren't going to keep Kokoni alive for long. All Eyes on Me, it's going to be a successful rotation for him, but if that didn't work, he'd be falling even further behind, and even after getting that kill, it's still not great. He leaves the lane, Jakiro takes his tower, which is something that Jakiro can do, especially with 3 points up into the Liquid Fire. My goodness, what just happened?
Well, they just charged at the Venomancer. Venomancer got the Gale out, and Insolent, instead of getting the last hit on the Venomancer, he used his last right click to deny his ally, so a very nice kill going the way of Komanda Minus yet again on the bottom lane Venomancer, and well, Insolent is going to be pretty happy that he gets to kill off his ally. You always got to be happy whenever that happens, but it is a tower denied up on top. All Eyes on Me snuck that one in as Jakiro just completely messed up with his Liquid Fire, completely messed up with his right click, didn't even try for the last hit, ended up giving that one away. Yet regardless, it's still 6-4 in favor of Komanda Minus, and their Slardar is getting dangerously close to a Blink Dagger. He will have that one by 10 minutes max, I want to say, unless he's going to get jumped right now, which is a significant possibility. He just needs a little bit more gold, and maybe it's time for Skywrath Mage to come down here just to try to defend the Slardar, but it's over towards mid where Kokoni going to go strong versus Joey. He's going to do some pretty serious damage. Is he going to have enough for this one? It looks like he will. Still more offensive charges. He's going to obliterate the Razor down and over towards mid. Insolent, in the meantime, is going to get jumped so close to his Blink Dagger. The poison damage might be enough to kill him off, but it doesn't seem like it will. He has a salve as well, and it looks like with the coil coming in, he is going to survive to fight another day, and he's only 100 gold away from his Blink. Those teleportations just pay for themselves in such a huge way.
Definitely. The TP scroll spent by the Slardar is a little unfortunate for him, but definitely worth it if he's able to get out there alive. The Earthshaker didn't show himself, so when the Venomancer just threw his barrage of spells, Slardar's like, oh, this is pretty much the same thing that happened earlier, I can TP out. Currently in River, Mystic Flare onto Yes Piece, doesn't actually do that much since there's no lockdown outside of the concussive shot, so he's able to walk out there fairly cleanly. But now Slardar has the money for the Blink Dagger and is able to jump in. Fissure blocking off. Poor Hawkeye. He is actually going to be able to walk straight through the trees, so that actually doesn't do anything. Never mind, no kills in bottom yet.
It looked like a straight block off, but Fissure just one of those skills. Now Slardar, because he was saved by his buddies, going to have a Blink Dagger. TP up in 5, but the bottom lane is not going to be alive by then. Actually, Fortification, and it will be surviving. Slardar, does he want to defend this? He can teleport right away, but it's instead going to be mid lane where Lizard's going to be brought down by Kokoni just by himself. The tower on bottom is going to be denied actually by Jakiro, so I guess getting a little bit of justice there for the hero, and it is going to be now a smoke up. Insolent and Pure Evil, they're going to change their sights up towards top. The Slark is not that healthy, but he's still very, very difficult to bring down, and now he's just going to run away. So It's going to be still setting up potentially onto Mitch. Poison in the area, and here comes Jakiro. Mitch is going to get hit with quite a few dots, but he will be able to survive. And it looks like no kills are going to happen. No, it's up toward top where they did find All Eyes. I mean, he's silenced up, and with the amplified damage, he's going to be brought down. No time to pack out. That's going to be the kill. I knew there was going to be one kill there, and just a question of where it was going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a very good kill for Komanda Minus as well. Slark just delivered a Midas to himself. He's able to use it before he dies, but even so, this Slark's impact in the game is going to be very limited because of the items he's chosen to go for. Slark usually can get away with the Midas pretty easily, but I think it's just a little too late to go for it. I think just going for like Treads Aquila into Blink Dagger might have turned out to be a better choice this game, since Komanda Minus are going to be playing aggressively very soon. Drums on Templar Assassin, Blink on Slaughter. It's go time.
Slaughter is going to start off with a sprint over towards mid, crush onto Joey. No time to start that damage link. He's going to get obliterated by the Mystic Flare. So easily done with the minus armor synergy helping out as well from the physical damage. And well, Razor's going to take, what, the fourth death? Yeah, the fourth death of this game, and he just got thoroughly outlined by Kokoni. However, Kokoni's going to get jumped now by Slark as well as a fissure. He is going to worm his way through that fissure and will be just fine. This Slardar is more or less playing like a minus armor centaur. I mean, it's just a blink stun that they really want for Komanda Minus, and Slardar, I guess, can do that, and it's working out pretty well for them. So I think we were both a little bit kind of questioning how they were going to run this draft, but because Slardar is more or less just a stunning machine, just a blink stun initiation, now Komanda Minus can actually be pretty aggressive versus the towers.
Yeah, I quite like the choice to run Slardar like that. I think that's where he really shines the most, when you don't need him to carry as much physical damage in the early game, and then you have that potential to scale later on. They are going to smoke up the Scarth Mage and the Slardar, partnered up again, potentially going to bump into All Eyes on me or the Ancient Apparition, but for now, Lizard's well under his tower, and they are sprinting around max movement speed. They haven't found the Slark yet, and their smoke is yet to break. They go down to low ground. They found Slark. Blink, Crush, Silence, Mystic Flare. All Eyes on me. Can't get anything off. And he's going to fall as pure evil. Notches himself a dominating spree.
The best way to kill off a Slark is just have the element of surprise every single time. Don't let him Shadow Dance. Don't let him get that Tark backed out. Don't let him pounce out. Just kill him with nice initiation. Speaking of nice initiation, right onto Yes Piece. He's going to get silenced yet again. It's going to be pure evil driving yet another kill. Insolent helping out there as well with the initiation. But man, this Scarth Mage is just running this game right now, and now Joey's going to be chased down. A couple of Arcane Bolts going to fly, not quite going to be lethal. Insolent thinking about charging forward for that. It's going to be pure evil to fall to the damage over time of Mitch, though Mitch taking quite a bit of damage as well. Ice Blast will not connect, and it looks like everyone else from Komanda Minus will be surviving, although Mitch, now being targeted by a couple of creeps, is taking quite a bit of damage. Has to worry about the Slark reinitiation, and he might just be going down here. Stick Charge is going to keep him alive as Hawkeye, chasing a little bit too far, is going to be fine for now. A couple more Vortexes, though, is going to secure his demise as Insolent does blink in the backline and assassinate the Venomancer. In the meantime, Kokoni is still looking to reinitiate, maybe help out his friendly Slaughter just a little bit. He's a little bit too far away, though. With the drums and phase, he will arrive eventually, but now he's all alone, Kokoni. He has to run away. Fissure's going to slow him down with the pounce as well. Insolent ending a huge crush. Now Kokoni going to turn around with the spill damage on the SPS. Kokoni's still going to survive for a little bit longer. All Eyes on Me will escape as well. It's going to be a nice attempted turnaround, but just falling short. Insolent still thinking about turning around to fight, but I think mYinsanity are going to come away with a slight lead after the end of that fight. Mostly because, oh wait, no, Slaughter is going to jump in and assassinate the Razor. Never mind, he's going to get one more kill. Notch that one for him. But All Eyes on Me is now in the mid lane. He's going to try to chase down for Pure Evil. Silence is going to get packed out. Now Pure Evil really doesn't have any tools of escaping the Slark. Just has to try and stand and fight with the damage on the Slark. He's going to regenerate pretty much all of that with that Haste Rune, and that should just about be the end, although we have an Ice Blast flying through. That's not going to connect. And after all said and done, the Templar Assassin does end up going down, but Slardar are getting quite a few kills.
Yeah, and that's going to be enough for Power Treads and now a Cloak. Slardar is the MVP for that fight. Even though he doesn't save the Templar Assassin, that was so close to being an epic save. And now Kokoni has the Yasha, top of the net worth chart, is going to be running the pace of this game, as he should be at this point. 15 minutes in, Templar Assassin gets the maxed out meld as well as the Refraction, 2 points up in the Psionic Trap. This is pretty much TA's wheelhouse and where she wants to be. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is online. The Venomancer Ultimate is as well, but both of those are only level 1, and Komanda Minus still have a decent window where they're able to push pretty aggressively, but they can't ever stop. All Eyes on Me inside the enemy jungle. Now is his Power Treads Aquila on top of his Midas, but still a long ways away before getting that Blink Dagger. Even on a Midas Slark, I think it's worthwhile just for that Blink Pounce initiation.
Well, Hawkeye does have his Yule Scepter, so if anyone jumps in, or if they catch anyone, they will be able to open up. Insolent with an Invis rune right now is going to be, I believe, spotted by an Observer, but Hawkeye, he's going to initiate onto Lizard, lands a nice two-man Ice Path, but he's actually all alone right now. It's going to be Slark in the back line to fall, but it's going to be an even trade 1-for-1. I honestly don't know what the Jakiro was thinking there, but it wasn't a good thought. At least they get the Slark out of that one. Now Insolent maybe thinking about sprinting forward for more. The Ancient Apparition kind of roughed up, but you have to dive a tier 1 tower with sprint on if you want to get this. Maybe a little bit too much for the Slardar to chew, and he will fall back.
Ancient personalized boss also misses. That Slark kill was completely isolated from the action going on with the Jakiro. Slark was, I don't know, running towards the enemy base trying to escape. He goes for a leap TP, but a nice Blink Crush is going to put an end to that. So I think that still favors Komanda minus. The Jakiro dying, even though it's a decently leveled hero that they're picking off, it's not that impactful. And he already has his Yule Scepter. He's not going to be saving up for anything major soon.
Yeah, right now he just needs a couple more levels. Maybe get a little bit more Ice Path so that the Yule Scepter setup is actually going to lock someone down for more than a second. So it's not really going to be a huge deal killing off Hawkeye. Whereas for Slark with the Hand of Midas, he's pretty much guaranteed his farm, so you can't really stop his farming as far as that is concerned. But as many times as you could kill him is best, just to delay his experience, delay the Essence Shift, and to delay those additional items of Slark, which for sure are going to be more dangerous than the items on Jakiro. Komanda minus, they're split pushing just a little bit. I don't really think this is going to last for very long, as bottom lane tower seems to be the objective. Yeah, Hawkeye's going to rotate down there. Poison is making his way down there as well, but Kikoni is not. This Templar Assassin can solo kill people, but this is going to make Komanda minus's fight potential on bottom lane much, much weaker.
Definitely, and well, we're going to have a pause at a decently unopportune time. Right now, the push continues, and it's going to be everybody on Komanda minus at this bottom lane, with only 2 defending for MYI. And these 2 can spam out the waves, drop some venomous words to deter this push. Tier 1 tower should, at the very least, fall even without the Templar Assassin. Slark does have a TP if he really needs to get into the fight, but nobody else really wants to join the fray.
Well, we'll see if anyone actually does end up in a fight here. It might just be mYinsanity letting this tower fall, although putting some heroes here to kind of pretend that there is going to be a defense, which is a possibility. And it seems like with the Venomancer wards, they're not really well placed to deal with a, whoa, okay, Ancient Apparition is dead. That just happened. Sure, I mean, meld damage is a lot when it's amplified. When meantime, bottom lane, Hawkeye gets clipped with the Fissure. Gale's going to miss, though. And with the shield, Hawkeye is going to walk his way out of there. So the tower is going to be defended for now. And it looks like Poison might be a casualty of war. Another Fissure, not in time. Echo Slam, in fact, used. But that Aftershock was way out of range, so they don't get anything on this bottom lane, and they have to actually defend their top lane because Kikoni and Insolent are both here. They'll make short work of the creep wave with the side blade spill damage. They don't have the most minus armor yet. They'll have a little bit more once Desolator comes up, but no one from mYinsanity is actually here, so in fact, Komanda minus do get a tower after all, but it's not the tower they actually planned for.
Yeah, and it's a tower and a kill to top it all off. The Ancient Apparition, 644 HP, 3 armor, just got obliterated. There was not a chance that he could survive, just ends up getting melted. And, well, Slark, he is pursuing for something. He's going to bump the Abaddon, and that's going to be the end of it. Pounces up to the high ground, purges off whatever was onto him, but now with the Blink Crush, onto All Eyes on Me, with the Mystic Flare as well as the Silence, he's gone. Slark just isn't mobile enough, it seems. The Pounce usually is going to keep you out of trouble, not when you have a blinking Slardar.
So, yes, apparently Sprint is really good against Slark when Slardar is on the offensive, and Slark just got nailed one too many times by this Slardar, and Slardar is actually going to soon be in a situation where he's a lot more deadly than the Slark, and I think he might actually be at that point already. Like, a Blink Crush into a Mystic Flare has gotten them so many kills, but soon enough it's just going to be Blink Crush into Slardar, amplify damage, hit them a couple times, especially if Templar Assassin's there with the Desolator minus armor at all. Slaughter's getting really big right now, and mYinsanity, they're still not doing too poorly in this game, but the net worth is slowly but surely climbing in favor of Komanda minus. It's just a matter of time before they take more and more towers, and though mYinsanity have taken a couple of towers themselves, it just feels like they're just scrambling for answers at this point. The Razor, I think, is kind of a non-factor for mYinsanity.
Yeah, he's a mechanism carrier, and that's about it. He just wasn't able to do much in lane 3, 5, and 3 on the Razor, and his CS is subpar at best. I don't know, Joey just hasn't had the impact that I thought he would, and most of that is based on the laning stage. His Razor likes to get ahead and then stay ahead, but this is just not the game for it. And Slark also not really accomplishing very much on his own. If he has some extra support behind him, he can do quite a lot of damage and maybe get some kills. But Komanda Minus, for the most part, are completely in control of this game. The Abaddon doesn't have very much, but neither does the Ancient Apparition and the Earthshaker, and I'd much rather have just that one Abaddon. And get your Skywrath Mage with some decent farm. 4-staff already onto Pure Evil. He's been able to survive and picks up a lot of these kills, especially on the Slark.
Yeah, Mystic Flare, it's very hard to miss those kills, and with the amplified magic damage, it's not going to be too relevant in this game. Minor amplification of Hawkeye, which is probably not going to be even noticeable. So in that sense, Pure Evil, his silence is not for amplification, as it normally is going to get a lot of value from there. It's mostly just a anti-Slark tool, which I'm kind of feeling the same thing can be said about this Slardar. It's more of an anti-Slark tool than anything else. So Komanda Minus finding a couple of counters for this Slark, and well, so far it's working out very well. Of course, Slark does have Hand of Midas, but it's just a Hand of Midas. He has pretty much nothing else except for boots, so he's not doing too impressively this game. And Slark, much like the Razor, as you said, likes to get ahead a little bit and then snowball forward with more and more and more kills, and then remain elusive with his kit. But I mean, good luck doing that in this game. You have to just stand and fight in a full 5-on-5 engagement when you're going to be blinked upon. That's not where Slark wants to be.
Definitely not. And Kokoni's damage, if we add up all of the minus armor sources from Meld, Desolator, that's going to be, let's see, 8 from Meld, another 7 from Desolator, and what level is his amplified damage? That's 30 minus armor. That's ridiculous. That's almost getting to the point where minus armor stops being relevant, and there's nobody on the side of mYinsanity that can actually survive through that. Even though Slark has some decent base armor and Razor has a mechanism, they're also just going to melt.
So I'm pretty sure Ancient Apparition guaranteed one-hit kill. Earthshaker maybe.
With a Meld Strike, yes.
Yeah, if they like amplify damage and then set up a Meld Desolator hit.
It's ridiculous amounts of damage. I think it is. Maybe they survive it. I don't know. Earthshaker would get close. I think Ancient Apparition is for sure gone.
Yeah, so when we're talking about one-hit kills, you know the game has gone wrong at some point, and well, it's going to be Komanda Minus constantly applying this pressure, and as you said, they should never stop applying this pressure just because they are snowballing so heavily. You can't stop. You can never stop, and they're going to go straight for mid. They can also go for Roshan. Like, all that minus armor does work on him as well, so they'll be able to kill him off. Maybe not quite in that one-hit territory, but it's going to be Yes Peace to blow the smoke. Is there any True Sight? There isn't, because, oh, there is, but they misplace it. Yes Peace is going to run the right way, and he's going to survive. So it's going to be a blown smoke from Komanda Minus, but they still can set themselves up for Roshan.
Yeah, okay, so I just ran the numbers for the minus armor, and Templar Assassin with the Meld Strike is going to be doing, give or take, 400 damage amplified by 60%. Confirmed one-shot kill on the Ancient Apparition if they line all of that up. Earthshaker might barely survive.
Yeah, they might need 2 kills. It's going to take them ages to kill off that Earthshaker, man.
Of course.
Can't afford that second shot.
Yeah, we haven't even looked at Roshan. They don't have the amp onto him because they didn't have a way to clean it out beforehand, but Roshan, 10,000 HP is gone in the matter of like 5 seconds. Templar Assassin Slaughter going to secure a second life for Kokoni, and now he can just run headlong into mYinsanity's side, which is exactly what he wants to be doing.
And that's exactly what he's going to be doing now in this bottom tier 1. I think the tier 2 is also going to be an objective here because they do have a little bit more power in pushing towers given the Desolator. Slark is going to make it an even trade so far, but Slark definitely cannot outrace this. Even though, you know, Plague Wards and Ice Vortexes are going to be slowing this one down, this is a Desolator Templar Assassin we're talking about. This tower is doomed to fall in mYinsanity. They need to make some sort of defense or just outright just leave the tower alone, because this push from Komanda Minus is not going to stop. And if mYinsanity are thinking that they might be able to make it stop somehow just by delaying elsewhere, they're going to be massively mistaken. Maybe Slark is able to take down a mid lane tower as well, but that seems very, very unlikely unless Komanda Minus actually do fall back, which I guess is just going to happen.
I would have thought they'd stick towards it, but they're TPing with Skywrath Mage first. He does have a 4-step to get in range and all on ice on me, but he'll be able to pounce away. Slark's going to survive, and the tower is defended by Komanda Minus, but I think that's a little too conservative for my taste. Aghanim Scepter on mYinsanity as well as a level 2 Venomancer ultimate. he's going to be very hard to ignore, or in fact, impossible to ignore. If you ignore the Venom ultimate, you're pretty much screwed. Slark going to be able to assassinate the poor Skywrath Mage, but being sprinted after, he is going to be able to purge off the amplified damage as well as the stun, and now make a clean TP out unless the Ice Pad lands, and it will do. All eyes on me. Now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Macrofire's not going to be doing that much damage, but sprinting Slaughter doesn't get the amplified damage off the second time. Will potentially be able to chase him down, but the Blink Dagger keeps all eyes on me out of vision, and he'll survive.
All right, an easy in kill for the onto the Skywrath Mage. Force Staff not really going to be helping you, and even though Skywrath Mage is doing so much damage when he's on the offensive, he has very few, if any, defensive tools versus the Slark. In fact, he has no defensive tools versus the Slark. You can't Force Staff out of that tether thing from the pounce. So it is going to be Slark finally getting a little bit of something for himself, and if he could do that a couple more times, then certainly he will be right back in this game and right back in the driver's seat. But until then, it's still Komanda Minus pushing down the middle lane. The lead is not as large for them. It has been stymied slightly. However, this charge forward from Insolent might be starting a fight here or there. Templar Assassin going to kill off the tower. Now working on those wards. Going to hit with the Fissure, but is going to be just fine because of the Abaddon backup and, of course, the Aegis. So this should just about be it. It's just a free tower for Komanda Minus.
Yeah, I don't expect him to go any further. Beforehand, we saw the power of the Blink Dagger on Slark, and I'm tempted to imagine a game where Slark didn't go for Midas, but right now it might actually work out for him, as he's constantly able to get that gold advantage. We do have a Crush coming out from the start. I didn't see where that headed. Looks like it was just to clear out some creeps. Yeah, for now, Komanda Minus, they're going to continue this push down in bottom. There's really nothing stopping them. The Aegis is still with 2 minutes duration on it, and Templar Assassin is going to be able to pretty much take this tower up on the front lines by herself, and does have some backup from the Abaddon. Refraction charges are going to be munched through by the Serp wards, but that actually doesn't matter. Ice Blast going to land onto 3. It's a pretty nice one, but there's not any follow-up for it. The tier 2 tower is almost already gone, even with the Fissure as well as the Plague wards.
And this time the Slark isn't doing any sort of counter push shenanigans, so there's no reason for Komanda Minus to back off. They will clean out the last outer tower that belongs to mYinsanity, and now it's going to be Komanda Minus probably not going to go for high ground until they get a pick off, so maybe it's going to be smoke cooldowns which determine the real offensive capabilities of Komanda Minus, and they have no more left, so maybe it's going to be a very long wait. Maybe they're just going to YOLO push up the mid lane right now because they still have the Aegis. That's also a good way to go, and Kikoni, he's good at finding double damage runes, is going to find one now. And mYinsanity, they have no Serpent Wards being set up. They certainly do not expect this push to be coming through the mid lane. Jakiro's a little bit far away, but he can rejoin very quickly. And Slark is pushing up the top lane. It's going to be annoying for Komanda Minus, but I don't really think they care because they are getting what they want.
Yeah, and double damage run on Kikoni is going to mean that this tower is gone. They have a Blink Dagger in the Earthshaker, and there's potential they can go for this, but Liquid Fire, as well as a couple of hits from the double damage TA, is going to ensure some permanent structural damage onto the ranged barracks. And Komanda Minus, they've actually committed nothing for this except for their time. Kikoni hasn't lost the Aegis, and there hasn't even been a threat of a fight.
And that's sometimes all you need is just Aegis to dissuade the enemies from picking a fight. And well, Templar Assassin will probably not get value off of that. Aegis is going to get like 100 mana. That's fantastic and everything. But BKB now up on the Templar Assassin, as is a BKB up on the Slardar. So any sort of lockdown from mYinsanity, the damage over time from the Nova, all of that is not going to stick during that duration. So assuming these heroes get their BKBs up before the fight even, before the spells start being thrown, they will be able to turn around and do some pretty serious hurt. And well, the Slaughter might have his BKB blown first. No, it's going to be him holding on to it. The Courier is here. The Stout Shield is probably not worth it, Courier. You have to get out. Pure Evil is going to not be spotted. Can they really not find Pure Evil right now? They see the Courier, but that's about it. I can't believe Pure Evil survived.
Well, there you have it. The Venomancer Plague Ward spots out the Courier, but Courier also doesn't die, doesn't even get close to it. I don't think they hit it once. So yeah, everything's going to be just fine and dandy. Kikoni is now stands Aegis, but has a BKB, so they still have ways to push. I think it's unlikely that they'll go for another high ground push until either they take a fight around Roshan, pick convincingly, or secure the Aegis for Kikoni again, but it's looking like they're going to be able to do so. With the BKB on Templar Assassin, what does she have to fear from mYinsanity? Very little. Slark and Razor's physical damage is incredibly limited unless Joey gets off a really long duration link, which I think is unlikely before he falls himself.
And it's not like the Templar Assassin's going to die to the Link either. It's more of the fact that, oh, if I get linked, I can't kill people. And then she's kind of just a non-factor. She'll just be sitting there awkwardly. So that's really the only thing that both the Slaughter and Templar Assassin are going to be worried about. Keep out of range of the Razor. Make sure that he doesn't get a long Link off. If Razor's Link breaks at like 20 damage or something like that, then, well, mYinsanity, they have actually no tools except for trying to kite these two heroes, but good luck actually doing that. They're going to resume the push over towards the mid lane. They want these ranged Raxes. With the amount of damage that Templar Assassin is putting out, just, committing with Liquid Fire, and that's it. They might be able to get this. No, they're not even going to try. They're going to back off once again. It is smart for them. There's no reason to go for that high ground push until Roshan comes back up.
Yeah, just keep the lanes pushed out, and that chip damage, they didn't really have to commit much towards it. They dropped Templar Assassin Legions and 2 Liquid Fires, which Shikiro did put himself at a risk to do so, but he has a Blink Dagger and was able to also be pretty safe in the meantime. So Komanda minus, just wait for next Roshan, and we'll see when that's going to spawn in about 50 seconds or so. If it's a fast Roshan timer, Komanda minus, they're going to be very pleased. All eyes on me, blinks forward, then pounces away. As Kekoni forces him back, they're now going to start chipping away at the top lane. One attack from the Templar Assassin is going to take away a little bit more than 140 damage. Insolent is going to blink in for a crush. All eyes on me, going deep, will pounce away, in fact, and both teams are posturing, but nothing's really happening, and I think that's favoring Komanda minus, since they are able to just every so often get a Liquid Fire or a Templar Assassin on these towers.
And look at this, Templar Assassin is going to find herself yet another blue rune, and Roshan timer, haven't been paying really close attention to those alerts. It's going to be actually a pretty long one, given the remaining duration. So if Komanda minus really want to wait for that, then they're going to have to wait for quite a long time. And this is up against a Hanamida Slark. mYinsanity, they're smoked up, and it looks like they want to get something going. But if they run into this area, and it looks like they will, they're going to get a lot more than they bargained for. It's going to be Insolent trying for initiation. All eyes on me. It's going to be yes, please, charging forward as well, but BKBs are up, and Earthshaker can get a 3-shot by the Templar Assassin. Now Joey's going to try to steal a bit of damage from this Slardar, who has to fall back, but the damage from TA is way too large, and he's going to annihilate that Razor. Now onto Mitch. The Crush is going to fly through, and Mitch is doomed to fall as well. No Venomancer ultimate for this fight. He's going to buy back, but by the time he actually gets here and actually lays down his ultimate, they're already going to be down. Rax as Mitch is now going to teleport straight in. All eyes on me, straight onto Kekoni, whose BKB is now up. However, the survivability from the Abaddon still flowing through. All eyes on me is going to try to instead go for Insolent. Kekoni taking a lot of damage, is going to get the shield up. Now the silence on All eyes on me, almost one-shotting the Slark. My god, he has to buy back instantly. And Komanda minus, they haven't lost anyone just yet. I think now it's about time to fall back, because you got a whole bunch of kills, you forced out a whole bunch of buybacks. You could reset and rearm, or you could just keep going. That's good too. You still have a little more double damage, although it will time out soon. Seems like that's just nothing but wins there for Komanda minus.
They will proc the Abaddon ultimate to the Venomancer poison, but yeah, Komanda minus, they come out with a huge win. That's buyback on both Slark and Venomancer, which are quite honestly some of the most important heroes for mYinsanity to have, just to make sure that they get that Venomancer ultimate off inside the team fights. And Slark is really their last hope, and he's dropping low to the Slaughter. He's going to be able to purge off the stun, walk away with a little bit of help from the Earthshaker. Now the turn on Insolent commences. With Echo Slam being committed, they will be able to kill off Slaughter, and giving the dominating streak to All Eyes on Me is going to be really important for them. If All Eyes on Me died there, I think that might just be one lane of barracks completely down, if not more.
Yeah, but still the middle lane lost its range Raxes, and Komanda minus don't have to completely base, because they actually find a regen rune on the Abaddon, so they have a lot of sustain there. Unfortunately, the Slardar kind of biting off more than he can chew, and that's something we have seen from Komanda minus in the past. They get a little bit too comfortable with how ahead they are, and they forget that they are actually not immortal, and then they end up dying, just going a little bit too far. So they have to be careful about that. But as long as they stick together, and as long as they just let Kekoni do his thing as a Templar Assassin, they will be able to take the rest of the Raxes without too much trouble. mYinsanity, they need either great team fights, or Slark getting pickoffs beforehand if they're going to take a decent fight. And well, the great team fight probably isn't going to happen with Earthshaker's cooldown on his ultimate being up for 109 seconds. So mYinsanity, if Komanda minus go right now, should not be able to mount a defense.
Or at least considerable defense if they do get everything together. Apparently they have 1,000 ping, but that's pretty much meaning that you've timed out of the request. So I think it's all back to normal, at least when I checked. So I hope we're all good.
Man, so many delays in this game. Hawkeye really needs better internet.
I don't see anybody with 1,000 ping. Okay, there we go. Hawkeye just spiked to 500. There we go.
He's a Jakiro. You don't need finesse. You just
Not really.
auto cast Liquid Fire and then just occasionally hit towers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really going to impact the outcome of the game. Maybe it's going to cost him an ice path here or there, but you can play Jakiro with 300 ping. It's back down.
He did Yule Scepter himself in that previous fight. Like, when they tried to initiate first hand onto the Slark, I believe, the Jakiro was just up in the air in the back. Like, literally not close to anyone, just, you know, twirling in the Cyclone. So, I don't really think that should be a problem, since that shouldn't happen unless you double tap the button, but still, it's a possibility, I'm sure. Maybe it's mYinsanity's best chance of coming back into this game, hoping that the Jakiro just stops functioning.
I mean, the Jakiro, even though he's annoying in the team fights, Kikoni's the real one you have to be worried about. Now with the Mantis style on top of his Black King bar, he's going to be roaming pretty freely throughout the fights. Mantis style doesn't really get you out of a lot from mYinsanity, if anything at all. But just that extra pushing power, I think it's going to be really nice for them. Being able to throw up those illusions with 147 base damage is not the most, but mYinsanity, they're not in really a situation where they can take fights unless they find the perfect opening. And now Slardar, looking for the crush on the Slark. He'll be able to blink away towards the right.
Yeah, just narrowly missing that one. And with Skywrath Mage right behind him now with the level 2 Mystic Flare, could have been one of those kills again that we've seen time and time again on this Slark. Komanda Minus, they're not going to push that aggressively right now, as they are just waiting for Roshan. The Sonic Traps are going to spot that out, as there's Sonic Traps all over the place here from the TA. Just the TA and Slaughter are needed for this one, and mYinsanity, I guess their best chance is to try to jack the Roshan. They are setting up a couple of Plague Wards to make things a little bit more of a nuisance for Komanda Minus, but I mean, the speed at which K Minus can kill off the Roshan is just disgusting. So mYinsanity, their chance of reacting is very small, but it seems like they're not going to head towards that area just yet, as they're more than content just getting a couple more items up. Slardar is at 2,400 gold, and Assault Cuirass can make the game so much easier for Komanda Minus.
Yeah, usually Minus armor falls off in like 10 to 20 minutes, but I don't think that's going to be the case ever for Komanda Minus, just because of the raw amount of Minus armor that they have. mYinsanity would need to get, like, I don't know, an Assault Cuirass and a Plate Mail on everybody just to break even in armor.
Yeah, so Assault Cuirass, good on both sides right now, and we'll see if anyone actually does want to go for that item. For mYinsanity, they just need all the cheap armor that they can get. There is a Plate Mail on Razor, and it seems like that's just about it. So I'm assuming Assault Cuirass for him, although Shiva's wouldn't be terrible either. Really, as long as he gets an item with that, it's going to be fine. Even if he doesn't, it should be fine as well. But we have a top lane split push from Komanda Minus. This is just a Jakiro by himself, and this is a Jakiro with a lot of ping, so probably should not be here. He's going to get a lot of damage drained out, but he will have a Blink Dagger to escape. In the meantime, bottom lane, it's going to be push, maybe just to set up Roshan. And this Roshan is going to be ground down pretty darn quickly. However, mYinsanity, they are here. They're without their Razor, and they kind of need their Razor here if they're going to contest this.
Just a little bit. Templar Assassin inside the Roche Pit by herself is able to solo this very easily. With the Minus armor coming up from the Slardar, now they have both of them in the pit. Never mind, they're just going to leave Kikoni to do his business. Ancient Person Ice Blast lands out, spots out the Roshan. Now all eyes on me, jumps into the pit, bounces up to the high ground. This is a huge opening for Komanda Minus, where they can take Roshan without having to deal with the Slark. But Earthshaker's primed with the Blink Echo Slam, goes in the pit, he picks up the Aegis. A beautiful steal of the Roshan. Now, yes, he's probably going to lose it, but it doesn't even matter. Earthshaker kills the Roshan and gets that Aegis to the Immortal. BKBs pop by both Joey and Kikoni, even with the damage link. Razor can't really take that fight. Now focusing into the Venomancer. Doesn't have as much damage as Kikoni would like to, but still hitting for a moderate amount. And now they'll be able to clean up the Slark up the high ground as well, and chasing down Joey. One more blink, smack by Slaughter. They'll proc the ultimate on to the Abaddon after they clean up the Templar Assassin. Yes, Peace was forced to use his ultimate. Now Silent Step can do nothing but watch himself fall, even though mYinsanity steal the Roshan and the Aegis. They're not able to win a fight there. I thought that was about as good as they could have hoped for.
That was. I mean, they had the BKBs up. Razor stole quite a bit of damage from the TA, yet after all that, it still wasn't enough. And the only reason they got the Roshan, the Aegis steal and the Roshan kill, was because Roshan got lucky with his last bash before he went down. So he bashed a Templar Assassin, and then Templar Assassin was stunned. She literally could not do anything when the Earthshaker jumped in, but Joey is going to be initiated upon over towards mid. He has no BKB. Mech is not going to do nearly enough for him, as Insolent is doing more than enough damage at this point. Skywrath Mage is going to be sniped by the AA in the meantime, but this is mYinsanity buying back with that Razor. Now he's at literally 0 gold, they're going to just go for this high ground push. No Templar Assassin here, unfortunately, for Komanda minus, so they can't super quickly take this one, but they don't really need to be fast with this. They will bring it down, it seems, as well. Mitch and Yes Peace, they are in the area. They don't have their ultimates, and really these heroes need their ultimates. However, Insolent actually not hitting the racks, so if you don't do that, you're not going to kill it, and it looks like the racks on mid lane are going to survive for just a little while longer, but Templar Assassin has enough to just straight buy travels if she wants to. It's not going to be necessary because there's still a tier 1 mid, and oh yes, a double damage rune yet again. Coney is really good at finding them. They're going to still go for this mid lane push. Hawkeye all alone at this point. With the Liquid Fire, probably is capable of doing it. Insolent is going to blink into a corner and then straight TP out, but hey, they get their axes in the end.
Yep, and they're going to have a double damage rune for this next fight, but they might lose to Jakiro. He's going to use himself in the air to delay the damage during the leash, but Hawkeye tagged by the Ancient Apparition Blast should be falling here. But then again, it's just a Jakiro, definitely worth it for the melee barracks unless they lose something else. But Abaddon makes clean TP out, and Templar Assassin runs down towards bottom and sets his sights on his 4th double damage rune this game. This time he doesn't have a bottle, however, so Kikoni's going to be forced to use that immediately. Very unfortunate.
It's still going to be Rax's going the way of Komanda minus right now, and all eyes on me. He's hunting for, if nothing else, just a little bit of vision. But if he runs into Kikoni right now with Insolent's help, this is going to be bad. No, it's going to be Yes Peace to take the bullet. Oh my god, Shaker just got obliterated. Now all eyes on me. He's in a corner. If he gets silenced, it's all over for him. He's going to go into the Shadow Dance. Needs a pounce out of here, but he gets stunned up. The pounce, is there even an angle? He's going to get silenced and he's going to be brought down. Slark has no buyback. And Komanda minus, they're going to go straight up towards the mid lane. Maybe going towards GG, but they could easily slide up or down, depending on what they feel like. Knowing that the Slark has already bought back. And still, there's no double damage rune on the Templar Assassin, but they can go for a second set of Raxes here.
Very easily. That double damage rune picked up previously, I didn't think it would be very impactful, but mYinsanity proved me wrong. They go in with the Slark and the Earthshaker, and they just get dropped like a sack of potatoes. Kikoni's doing so much damage, even though he only has one true damage item in the Desolator. It actually doesn't matter. Templar Assassin is consistently able to do quite a bit. Joey forced to pop his BKB to the might of Slaughter as well as the Scarith Mage. Dropping a Mystic Flare onto him at this point really isn't that impactful when they're knocking on the front door of your base. The tier 3 tower up on top is going to fall Liquid Fire. Now with the Desolator effect from Kikoni, it is going to die. Now into the range barracks, they're going to change their mind, going into the melee. A little bit of split focus coming out from them. They jump in for both Mitch and... my god.
He doesn't have buyback. Unpause. Come on.
Please.
Okay, well, that was probably the best initiation that mYinsanity could have asked for. A level 2 Blinking Venomancer ultimate is absolutely devastating, and Kikoni right now is going to take a fissure. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. Has a BKB, and I'm pretty sure he was going to mash it anyway, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it out. Where's the Abaddon? He's off to the south. He needs to get straight up towards the Kikoni and apply some shielding right now. Otherwise, Kikoni is going to die. Is there an AA Blast coming in? It looks like it's not even casted just yet, but I think they have enough stun duration to land it onto Kikoni. This might be Templar Assassin taking a fall, but man, I mean, they don't have buyback on Slark. Guys, I mean, oh my god.
I mean, I suppose once it's paused, the damage is already done, so why unpause it? Just to pause it after the team fight. And I suppose he's going to be back in 15 seconds, so we unpause, wait 15 seconds, and then pause again. Who knows? This is like actually the worst time to pause.
Alright, so let's see how this fight is going to go down. Venomancer is pretty much done. If Mitch dies right now, that's fine, no one really cares. Earthshaker and Joey, their job is right now to try to kill off Kikoni. There is a static link, which is actually already mid-cast for Joey, so his damage drain is going to start, and with these stuns from Yes Please, Yes Peace, it is going to be a lot of damage drained out by the Templar Assassin. This Slardar is running the opposite direction. Has a BKB to pop, doesn't have Crush, however. So even if he does pop BKB and turn around to try to help out the TA, he won't really be able to do that much. Hawkeye, Ice Path, though, is probably their best chance. If they just land an Ice Path right over Kikoni, Yes Peace, and Joey, then maybe that's going to be enough to stop everything.
Yeah, there are very few things in Dota that make my computer FPS lag, but with this many particles on the screen, like, it's actually annoying.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing we paused then, so your computer can try to recover.
No, it's pausing during it that's giving it the biggest issue.
Well, look towards the bottom lane. Nothing's happening there.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing. So I can maintain a beautiful, smooth edge pan.
Edge pan.
Edge
Love
pan.
that
I mean,
edge pan.
it's still doable, but my goodness. Why now? Slark's back, please. For the love of all that's holy, let's get into this team fight.
They're strategizing at this point. You know they are.
It's actually Frankerzy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Team speak issues.
Team
For
speak.
sure. We all believe you, mYinsanity. We all believe you.
Oh. Come on. Okay. So, I mean, we've kind of already talked about it, but let's see. Earthshaker. Templar Assassin stunned by Aftershock for pretty much the entire duration. You should be able to get a Fisher off before the BKB comes out. In that duration of stun, Static Link should be able to steal a pretty decent chunk of the Templar Assassin's damage. Poison with only the Force Staff to allow him to be mobile. He should be able to get in range to purge off one of those stuns, however. So let's see how fast Abaddon's able to book it.
Oh, actually, I think Hawkeye is going to Yule's yes piece, right? That's probably the play. You throw the Shaker up into the air. Templar Assassin is no longer stunned. She's going to pop BKB and then pop Manta Style and then try to kill Joey, who's probably going to run into Coney a little bit too closely. I think that's actually the play. You should ignore Mitch, because Mitch doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, no, Mitch is actually done. Gale used, ultimate used, just run away.
Alright, so here's how it's going to break down, guys. And if it happens like this, we literally don't have to say anything for the entire fight, although we probably will. Hawkeye's just going to throw yes piece into the air. Kikoni's going to get unstunned, pops everything, kills off the Earthshaker in a hurry, then tries to go for Razor. Here we go. Yule steps onto the Earthshaker. He's going to get hit with the Ice Path. Kikoni going to pop everything right now. He's going to instead go for the Razor. Joey amplified damage. Kikoni's going to get that kill now onto yes piece. They're all going to die. Look at that, guys. I'm not a liar. Mitch will get the kill onto the Jakiro, and actually the Venomous is going to kill off the Templar Assassin, but she instantly buys back. Does she have enough for travels? And she will start traveling into the enemy side of the base. Slark is going to respawn, now trying to go for the Abaddon, but Kikoni's still here. Is going to get dusted, but nope. 1, 2, 3 hits is all it needs to take Blizzard. Won't quite be enough since she missed twice. Kikoni now going to try to go up against All Eyes on Me. This is going to be a fight that Kikoni can win, although not with Shadow Dance. Literally cannot hit the Slark right now. Meld is there, but Kikoni's losing quite a bit of stats. Will die back because of it. Slark coming in huge for the team, and well, Komanda minus, they don't take any of those Raxes.
Okay, so although it started out like we thought it would, the BKB on the Templar Assassin was quite delayed, and so she wasn't able to instantly turn and kill the Earthshaker. He was able to get out some of his spells. I think the biggest surprise is that Venomancer was able to clean house, and I think that's attributed to the fact that Poison Nova is ridiculous. The BKB duration on Templar Assassin, although it was decent at 8 seconds, wasn't enough to stop the majority of that damage, and no, just a handful of buybacks, they're able to come out ahead and force the Templar Assassin to die back, which is quite honestly huge. They won't be able to push off of this, but high ground held.
Well, yes, piece might be jumped right now. He's caught in the Ice Path, Macropyre, Shaker blinking into the middle just to try to clear the mid lane a little bit faster. Ended up running into one too many scaly heroes, and they're going to very quickly bring him down. Now they're looking for round 2 onto the Razor. Blink, Crush, Amplify damage. This time is going to be a lot harder because of Unstable Current. Insolent still doing quite a bit of damage. Ice Path a little bit too late, and Joey's going to be forced into BKB. He's going to try to charge forward because, hell, you already used the BKB. You might as well. Ice Blast is going to come in, but here comes the rest of Komanda minus, all except Kikoni. It's going to be the Scarlet Mage to drop first. All Eyes on Me into the Shadow Dance now is going to do quite a bit of damage to everyone as the Razor somehow barely manages to escape. Hawkeye is also going to take a fall. All Eyes now going to charge forward looking for someone else, but it's only the Slardar rather, to survive, and Slardar is going to give relentless chase towards this hero. Insolent with Sprint might be able to buy himself enough distance, but they both have Blink Daggers. The Sprint is going to make the difference here. Man, Komanda minus losing way too many kills right now, and just trying to fight without their Templar Assassins, turning out to be pretty brutal for them. Insolent still being chased by All Eyes on Me is going to hold the Crush, now throw it out into the Sprint. And I don't think Slark can do this any longer. He will fall back. But Komanda minus, they are 1 Rax ahead, but man, those series of fights just did not go well for them.
And now after those series of fights, Slark, after finishing up the Scotty, now has enough gold to think about his next item. Asher might be at the top of his mind, or just go for a straight BKB. No matter what it is, it's either going to make Slark do more damage or survive in the team fight and thus do more damage by extension. Razor is starting to become not irrelevant, I suppose. He's been able to get off a decent amount of that static link in return also, but the two supports, or rather the Ancient Apparition and the Venomancer, I should say, are kind of the saviors of those last two fights. The dot damage has been pretty insane. Komanda minus are losing grip over this game, even though they still have a structural advantage.
Yeah, so Komanda minus, they just have to tighten up the screws a little bit. Take a nice fight, try to go for another one of those pickoffs, which so far they have been finding so many of. Make sure that they have the pipe up on Jakiro and make sure that lands on multiple heroes, because that is going to be huge if they manage to land that and not have Koni get jumped right now. He does have Abaddon right behind him, needs a BKB, but the Fissure's going to stun Abaddon as well. Koni does get the BKB out, but it's way too late. He's going to go down. Poison, also in a little bit of trouble, is going to get hit quite hard already with the Ice Blast on him. He is going to just explode. That's going to be 2 more kills for mYinsanity. And that pause, I mean, I don't want to really say that pause ruined the momentum of the game, but it really did. And now Komanda minus, they're suddenly feel like they're on the losing end. Like, it feels like they're behind now.
And with Templar Assassin down for 60 seconds, Tier 2 tower and mid's probably going to fall afterwards. mYinsanity, a new lease on life. They're back into this game after what seemed like the end of it all.
Man, we had like almost a 20k lead. It's dropping all the way down to 4 digits now, and experience is almost dead even at this point. So, man, that pause, just such a swing after that fight, and maybe a little bit more strategizing, I think probably helped Komanda minus a little bit more than mYinsanity in all honesty. But it just the change in momentum right now, and Templar Assassin's down for another 30 seconds. It's going to be Komanda minus's base to get pushed right now, and Hawkeye a little bit too far ahead of himself. He's got to watch out for random blinking Slarks. Unfortunately, Slark is way too far away. They're still going to go for this push, and this is the mid lane, so they have no Raxes working for them, Komanda minus. They just have to turtle until TA's back up and maybe wait for top lane to push out a little bit more.
Slark has committed fully into the Abyssal Blade. He does have buyback available to him, but not enough gold to purchase it, so he is going to buy out for that chance, potentially, to catch a Templar Assassin off of guard. The Abyssal Blade is going to be a really crucial tool for them, and up until this point, All Eyes on Me really hasn't been the most impactful in the team fights, but that's going to change. Everybody's hiding inside the Roshan pit, and they're going to smoke up immediately. That's a questionable move, at least in my book, because of Templar Assassin traps, but I don't think there were any on the ground in the Roche pit, so that's not going to be spotted.
Yeah, they made sure to clear out all the traps first, and then they smoked up, so they know that they're completely safe in this. But it seems like Komanda minus know about this, and yeah, with random ice vortexes appearing, they know exactly what is going on. Roshan, conveniently for Komanda minus, is not going to respond and is not going to be taken by mYinsanity, but it seems like K minus are looking to smoke themselves, and they will do just that. If they get the jump onto mYinsanity, they can bring this game right back into their control, but mYinsanity, they are very far away right now, first of all, so by the time they get there, the smoke is going to be dwindling, and also mYinsanity are in a pretty decent position to take a fight right now, so it's going to be K minus running the wrong way, but they're going to go up towards top and try to pressure someone back. They still have this pushing power with the amount of minus armor that they have on their team.
And with 4 range creeps as well, this lane's going to push in. The Abaddon shield pops and kills off a creep. How attentive were mYinsanity? And it looks like they know what's up. Ancient Apparition pinging out that top lane, and now the enemy heroes are going to show themselves. Jump in for joy. They get the crush. Now with the Mystic Flare. Mystic Flare is going to obliterate him. Venomancer gets good ultimate off, and now the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast also landing in the 4, destroying the pipe as Insolence Abyssal down by All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me will be able to kill off the Slaughter, and now it's full retreat mode. They will get double Force Staffs trying to escape, but Hawkeye stunned up by the Earthshaker will be brought down, shattering to the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast effect. Abaddon will probably lose his life as well. It's barely not enough damage with the Ice Blast freeze effect, but now going to be pursued. He's going to pop the shield onto him, try to TP out. That's a very hopeful thought, and mYinsanity, even though they lose their Venomancer, they take so much more with them.
The combination of Venomancer ultimate with the Ancient Apparition ultimate is disgusting. Like, I honestly don't think mYinsanity needed to do anything else but cast those skills if they wanted to win that fight, because I mean, after that pipe dissolved from Komanda minus, their HP pools, like if you were watching the top bars of health, they were just dropping so quickly, and it was in large chunks as well. So K minus, they are, I mean, that was kind of the right move. They killed off the Razor immediately, but you can't really dodge the Venomancer ultimate, yet they have to. They have no other choice. Their BKBs aren't long enough to reasonably withstand that Venomancer ulti. And I mean, even BKBs are only up on Slaughter and TA anyway. I mean, what could you do about that? There's so many easy to land ultimates from mYinsanity that do so much damage that maybe the best hope for Komanda minus is get in when those are on cooldown, but the cooldowns are very, very low. Only a minute for the Venomancer and even less on the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, and Pipe at this point is doing nothing or very close to nothing for them. That 400 HP is gone in a split second. They popped the pipe, and as soon as they popped it, it was already away from them. Yes, please, going to force staff over some trees, get some vision, but this is probably going to be double life for mYi. Joey's going to go back into the pit, and oh, Komanda minus, they're getting ready to jump. Kikoni running into it. The Roshan still stands. They will be able to pop the ice path, but it doesn't land on enough. BKB on Kikoni trying to focus down Mitch. Mitch is falling. He has already gotten off his ultimate, however, and that's going to be enough to force Komanda minus back, especially with the Aegis now into Slark. Reaching up, all eyes on me. Will be able to blink pursue, looking for the pounce. Not going to catch out Kikoni, but with the Venomancer ultimate already onto him, Kikoni trying for a TP out. He might be able to make it alive. No, the Abyssal going to deny that away as all eyes on me gets a wicked 6 spree. Ice Blast lands onto nothing but creeps. But it doesn't matter. Venomancer for Templar Assassin trade in a vacuum is already pretty good, and they get the Aegis and Roshan on top.
So now Komanda minus, I think they're at a point of desperation. They have to make some sort of split pushing happen or something, because these ultimates are just wrecking their faces off. And Slark with the Abyssal Blade Eye of Scotty is getting to a very late game scary point as well. He's on the top of the net worth chart, in fact, and he's going to be running straight into Insolent, unless Insolent blinks into the trees, in which case he's going to be just fine. The Slark. No, oh my god, how did the Slark know about that? Well, he didn't get the bash anyway, a little bit too slow on the Abyssal Blade. Actually didn't have that one available, so just tried to go for versus bash, didn't happen. mYinsanity, I think they're just in the lead right now. Net worth and experience, it's bending towards mYinsanity, and Komanda minus, taking 1 racks, as good as that is, just isn't good enough against this damage of mYinsanity.
It really isn't. I don't know, they're able to keep the lanes out in their favor, and now Slark is a wrecking ball. He's going to be buying a new item very soon, and once he has that, what are they going to do to stop him? This Midas is completely paying off for the Slark. I had my doubts early on, but 48 minutes in the game, you want to be holding onto that hand of Midas, and there's just not one on the side of Komanda Midas to, I don't know, counteract that one coming out from the Slark. Templar Assassin as well as Slark are trading places of the top net worth farmer, and Templar Assassin is going to be favored in the raw items that are concerned, but still this TA hasn't been able to do enough for BKB. 5 seconds already. mYinsanity's magic damage is coming back in, and it's coming back in strong. Earthshaker, we haven't seen really a wonderful Echo Slam coming out from ES Piece, but if that comes out, even if mYinsanity were behind in momentum, they still have a potential to come back. And Komanda minus, they're on the ropes, even though they have 1 lane of barracks in their favor, which is really weird to say.
And Kikoni, he's going to try to put a little bit more momentum up towards top, but they have to worry about mid lane now. Komanda minus don't really have a huge amount of AoE. Like, they are not the ones with the Venomancer ultimates. They don't have an Echo Slam, so their best bet is to try to pick someone off beforehand, but it's clearly a little bit too late for that. So mYinsanity, I guess these positions are a little bit better for Komanda minus, as Mitch is not going to have a very easy time jumping in for a huge ultimate, but it's going to be Slark to jump in first onto Insolence, going to try to man fight the Slark, not going to happen. Now Mitch gets the ultimate onto the 3 heroes in the back lines. All eyes on me is going to drop his Aegis, but that's not really too relevant right now. Joey on the front line is going to try to chase forward for Kikoni, but he's going to end up turning around. Templar Assassin going to try to kill off this Razor, not quite enough to sustain, and Templar Assassin now down for the count, short and soon to be. There she goes. Buybacks onto everyone from Komanda minus, because their mid lane is in quite a bit of trouble. They've only taken 1 down so far. Everyone's going to buy back into this game. Ice Path being held for now. Insolent looking for a Blink Crush. Will land it onto Mitch, but this is an unimportant hero right now. You got to focus down. Eyes on me. And it looks like Kikoni's on the front lines once again. He's not going to have a buyback. Echo Slam not quite going to kill off Kikoni, but it might be lethal in the end, as Razor right on top of that Templar Assassin is going to not get that kill, but a Blink forward from All Eyes on Me is not going to be able to get the kill on Kikoni either because of the meld. They need a little bit more time to get one more pack down. Kikoni looks like he will be dropping. In the meantime, Insolent will get a double kill in the back end, trying to TP out from that scenario. He will make it out alive, but they don't have a Templar Assassin for another 2 minutes, and Slark is still alive, still getting juiced up. And Joey, what are you doing in the enemy fountain? That's not where you want to be. It's going to be a triple kill for Insolent, but Slark is still alive, and so is the AA. They can go for more if they want to. I think Komanda minus might have held, but it's going to be very narrow if they did it all. Insolent now going to get jumped by All Eyes. Going to turn things around with the amplified damage. Lots of damage to the Slark. Can't get into the Shadow Dance, and he will go down. He does have buyback, however. It's still a very much needed kill for the Komanda minus side. And Insolent picking up the Assault Cuirass in 1 shot, still with 2,600 gold in the bank after buying back. If the Slaughter had that to begin with, I don't know if the fight would have been much different, but it certainly could have helped.
Komanda minus, high ground defended, question mark. They are forced to spend 4 buybacks, and although they keep their structures alive, mYinsanity are going to be pretty happy with how that went for them. They might be forced to use the Slark buyback in return, but if they're not, they're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of Komanda minus. The gold swing inside that fight recap was the largest one I've seen ever. It was almost 10,000 gold that they were forced to spend after dying and then buying back.
Well, I mean, they were holding that gold for a long time anyway, the express purpose of buying back, so at least they did end up getting those buybacks out. Now onto Yes Piece. The Crush is going to land amplified damage as well. Slaughter with the Mystic Flare is going to kill off the Earthshaker. He has no buyback. Not exactly the most relevant hero right now for mYinsanity, although the stuns are going to be nice. It is going to be still be Komanda Minus trying to push this top lane with the help of Liquid Fire. This range Rax, I'm pretty sure, is going to fall, but Mitch is going to jump forward. Only one person hit with that ultimate. Actually, it's going to hit two, but now he's going to trade his life for it. Ice Path, no, Insolent is actually going to book it instead. Here comes the Slark, going to go straight onto Hawkeye. Hawkeye is almost certainly doomed to fall right now, and he is going to take that drop. In the meantime, Insolent's going to try TP out. He's going to make it out to safety. They don't take the Raxes in the end, and it will be defended. mYinsanity still, they have to worry about losing another set of Raxes. That could give a lot of momentum to Komanda Minus. But Komanda Minus, their item progression is all but stopped because of those buybacks.
It really is. The last fight wasn't great for mYinsanity either, and both teams are just trading blow for blow, but Slark's getting close to finishing up a butterfly, and once All Eyes on Me has that, bringing him down is going to be a lot harder for Komanda Minus. They rely so heavily on getting their right clicks off onto Slark in order to kill him. Mystic Flare, up until this point, was a really nice tool, and it is level 3, but Slark's generally able to survive that. Actually, wait. I could have sworn at one point Slark had a Black King Bar. Did he actually never go for that item? Never mind, he went for the Abyssal instead, that's right. And now has the completed butterfly. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think a BKB is really the item you want as Slark in this game, although if he had it previously, I probably wouldn't have said anything about it because it is still really good against Jakiro and up against the Skywrath Mage, but for whatever reason, he doesn't have that right now, and he's going to have that butterfly. There has been a butterfly in the works for Kokoni for the past like 20 minutes, but because of buying back, he just hasn't had enough time to get that item up, and even if he does get that item up, he's going to be wishing that he had an MKB at this point, so Kokoni is very slowly starting to fall behind, or very quickly starting to fall behind as far as contributions that can be made. Slark pretty much leaps and bounds ahead of this Templar Assassin. The Slardar even buying an armlet at this point. It's something you pretty much never want to do unless you're in a very desperate situation. I think this certainly calls for it. It's a very cheap item, and it's very cost effective. And when you're getting to a late game scenario, you usually want to get something that costs a little bit more, but man, at this point you take what you can get.
Yeah. Ancient Apparition at this point, please buy Vladimir's offering. I mean, going for a Scythe or something harder hitting would be nice, but that lifesteal on the Slark would be amazing, the extra damage, and not to mention the extra armor. At this point, they're going to start being able to trade even in the armor department, even when they have all of the minus armor spells on them, especially with the Slark already working with 18 to begin with, and then once he has the mechanism as well as the Assault Cuirass, he's going to be getting close to being able to survive up against that barrage of minus armor. And Venomancer 2 smoking up mYinsanity, looking for a pickoff, but that pickoff is not in their own woods. Templar Assassin went down towards the south, and they're not going to find anything.
Well, maybe it's going to be the gankers becoming the gankies, because it looks like Komanda Minus are going to roam upwards towards that area. There is a Radiant Observer Ward, which is not spawning anyone just yet. They did see a couple of neutrals die maybe with these traps. I don't know. Oh, they know exactly where Yes Piece is. They're going to send some TA Illusions to scout that one out. So no one's going to get caught here from either side. But Komanda Minus, they're going to barrel down the mid lane and look for a pickoff. If they pick off Lizard, that's most of the team fight of mYinsanity down the drain. And so far, Ancient Apparition has been doing a very good job at not getting picked, but this is a very sneaky move from Komanda Minus. I think they're just going to chill here until someone from mYinsanity walks into the wrong neighborhood. Is really what other alternatives do they have right now, Komanda Minus?
Oh dear. The Observer Ward just expiring on the high ground, spot out the TA, Abaddon, and Skywrath Mage. I don't think anybody's going to get caught out. Yeah, that should be the end of that. Or is it?
It's going to be Mitch still walking forward. Plague Wards are pretty cheap, and well, they'll scout completely everything, so looks like, in fact, no one is going to be dying right now. There is potentially something that Komanda Minus could use to win the game up towards the river area. Another double damage rune. I think whoever gets their hands on that will have a commanding lead in the next fight.
We'll have to see. I really would love to see a carry buy a bottle at this late game portion just to be able to snag that rune and use it in an opportune time. But Templar Assassin has actually abandoned the butterfly route, and I think that's fine by Kokoni. Going into the Monkey King Bar is more or less mandatory. Now, Komanda Minus smoked up as a 4-man unit. They also have the Abaddon falling back, so that is actually all 5 members of their team, and they're looking to make a big fight, and a big fight it should be. mYinsanity are a little bit spread out, but they have most of their members close enough to where they should be able to join. Let's see how it's going to start. They're going to open up onto Joy. They get the crush initiation and obliterate that poor Razor. Eyes on Me is going to be able to get off his ultimate. Abyssling down Insolent, trying to focus him is on the backlines. The Venomancer ultimate as well as AA ultimate are doing some decent work to ban Minus. It is currently just a 1-for-2 trade, but everybody else is low. There's the Echo Slam. The damage is going to be applied to 4, but it doesn't actually stun more than the Jakiro. All Eyes on Me trying to jump in, but the Yule Scepter on the Jakiro is going to delay that. Now Ice Path onto Yes Peace is going to mean that he's going to be the next one to fall. He gets off a Fissure before he dies, but it's a 1-for-3 in favor of Komanda Minus, but both sides are very battered.
Well, Kokoni is still decently healthy. All Eyes on Me really doesn't want to initiate just by himself into all these heroes. Does have an Ice Blast maybe to help him out, but they have to worry about the top lane right now, Komanda Minus, and mYinsanity they have to worry about the mid lane. Roshan is up, and Komanda Minus do know about this one. It looks like it's going to be everyone just backing off to their sides of the map. No buybacks, or no, there's not many buybacks available. In fact, Ancient Apparition is the only one in the Dire who can pull that trigger. It's still going to be Komanda Minus taking a very, very nice fight, and well, I thought it was going to go a lot poorly because mYinsanity, they had the Venomancer in the back end. He has an Assault Cuirass, so he was, being very tanky and being a large distraction. Landed a decent ultimate, but just wasn't enough. Now Hawkeye is going to get brought down by All Eyes on Me, although Sonic Trap is going to fly through, help out a little bit, and Ice Blast is going to do some pretty serious hurt. It will shatter the Abaddon. Now All Eyes on Me is going to caught with the Ice Path as he tries to go for Kokoni. He's unable to do anything. He's going to get brought down with Mystic Flare. Slark has no buyback, and Kokoni's going to find himself a double life. Is this the opening that Komanda Minus are looking for? I think it might be, as Kokoni's going to ditch his Talisman of Evasion. He will have now a double life, and mYinsanity, they will have everyone up bar the Slark, but they kind of need the Slark.
They really do, and even though Komanda Minus are down the Slardar for 20 seconds, he's going to be back online. Before the Slark is, they're going to have a minute window to push his set of barracks, and then they're going to have a cheese available for Slardar on top of it. He can ship that cloak away and pick that up from the rest of his team, maybe after clearing out a wave up top, but either way, this is an opening that Komanda Minus wouldn't have had earlier on. Kokoni now at the Monkey King bar is pretty much at the peak of his damage potential, even though he'd like to have his Butterfly on top of this instead of maybe the Aegis. Doesn't actually matter, and now oh, they're going to jump in with Insult. They get the double crush BKB onto Mitch. Going to start focusing down the Venomancer, but now the Meld Strike, they're not doing as much damage as I thought they would. They don't have the amp onto Mitch, but Mitch, it looks like he's going to fall. Mini Bashes galore. They will lose the Aegis onto the Templar Assassin, and buyback now from the Slark. He had waited it out long enough. Stun from the Earthshaker is going to miss onto Kokoni. He's going to be able to survive, but now gets bashed. Abyssal by the Slark. They're going to be able to focus down the Templar Assassin, and just like that, the game's turned completely on its head. Now chasing down Hawkeye throughout the woods. They have plenty of Blinks and Force Staffs to pursue him. Slark's going to catch eyes onto Hawkeye. He does have a Pounce cooling down and should be able to kill him off. He pops the cheese. Hawkeye wanting to survive as much as possible, but now with the blink, Pounce, no, Pounce, and then to a first hit bash. Just like that, they should be able to kill off Hawkeye, even though the Yule Scepter is going to delay. Razor's also joined the fray. And Hawkeye, one more attack is all that they need. Jakiro, he's going to need the jukes of his life. The creeps are not going to do him in. The Slark gets the last hit. 4 for 1, although it did force out the Slark's buyback.
Man, I mean, focusing a Venomancer definitely worthwhile at some stage of the game. Not now. Like, I don't think they realize, Komanda Minus, that Venomancer has an Assault Cuirass, and he has a crap ton of HP to boot. Like, he's at 31 armor right now. You can't just focus down a Venomancer and try to get that ultimate off the field yet. Komanda Minus still trying to go for that so desperately, wanted to not get hit by that ultimate. Instead, they grouped up and got perfectly hit by that in the end. And Slark, he didn't have buyback by the time that fight started, but he did have buyback by the time his team actually needed him. And now it's going to be mYinsanity taking the Aegis and Cheese off of Komanda Minus, and now they're going to try to crack back in a huge way as they go for both mid and top lane at the exact same time. Templar Assassin has a buyback, really does not want to use it right now. All Eyes is going to pounce forward, wants to go for Hawkeye with the Eye of Scotty there. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. Mystic Flare already used though, and these heroes not high enough in damage to kill off All Eyes, and he's going to slip away. Now into the melee Raxes. The range Rax is already going to fall. Hawkeye going to pop the pipe and the BKBs as well. Joey's going to get Force Staff back in as everyone's just shuffling around, but this is going to be Rax for Rax now. Even sets as mYinsanity, they're going to fall back. Templar Assassin and Slardar soon to be back up online, but what can they do about this? This game, I mean, if they couldn't win a fight with Aegis and Cheese, then when can they win a fight?
I'm not sure when the opportunity is going to be there. I think it's going to rely more on mYinsanity making a misstep than them playing well, and that's not a comfortable situation to be in pretty much anything. Barrack's advantage has been tied up by mYinsanity. If they win another fight like that without buybacks, I think it's all but over.
Right, so Templar Assassin Slardar are still going to be holding on to theirs, unless Templar Assassin says she's a little bit short on that. It does cost a hell of a lot, 1,900, in order to buy out into this game, so they will have it soon enough, but not quite yet. Roshan is maybe going to be relevant for Komanda minus, probably their best bet, but I don't know. At this point, they're definitely scared about their chance of winning this game. We're pushing an hour now, and well, Kokoni is going to have a little bit more time to farm up his butterfly, but even if he does get that, I don't really know if butterfly is the item you need right now. You need to be able to burst people down, and maybe Daedalus is just a little bit more appealing.
I don't know. I think Kokoni needs 8 slots to really be able to carry this game. I'm not sure any combination of items is really going to do it, and at this point the BKB is more or less useless, and he might just decide to replace that altogether.
Yeah, right now, what is it blocking? Just Earthshaker stuns? I mean, that's certainly very dangerous, but pretty much everything else that is threatening for mYinsanity is going to go through that. The Nova doesn't do damage to it, to you during the BKB, but it will still stick on you. So 5 seconds of immunity for that, I mean, that's a lot of HP that you're saving, but I don't know if that's quite worth it. Double damage rune is still up on top, but it's going to be mYinsanity to push down the bottom lane. They're going to try to go for at least pressure back Komanda minus into their base, and I think it will work. There's no way that Komanda minus can ignore this.
Definitely not, and if they do try to ignore it, the Aghanim Scepter on the Razor is going to mean the towers are falling pretty quickly for mYinsanity as well, although not as much damage as Komanda minus have, and pushing power, it still definitely suffices. Yeah, it's currently just a straight-up trade, but mYinsanity are a creep wave or two ahead of the opposition, and they also have a double catapult wave, so they're going to be able to force them back immediately. And Komanda minus, they need to get their behinds back into their base. Eye of the Storm pop. They do not have a glyph for this, and the tier 3 tower is going to fall at the very least. Are they looking to make a trade?
Well, the Dire have their glyph, and I think Komanda minus, I mean, they know that if they take a fight, it's not going to be reasonable for them. It looks like everyone's going to fall back at the exact same time. No one's going to find anyone on the retreat unless Slark does. He is chasing forward with a lot of movement speed, might run into the Jakiro right now. Hawkeye is completely screwed now. Has a BKB, this is fresh for him, but that's not going to help you here, yet he will use it, and then you will Scepter. Hawkeye is just screwed. That was a 10-second that was a 9-second BKB charge, which did literally nothing for him, and now he's going to die. The only casualty in this pseudo trade, but still it's going to be mYinsanity to take the upper hand in that one.
Yeah. And it is Jakiro down for 100 seconds. He'd previously bought back, and after buying the fresh BKB, doesn't have the gold for buyback, and actually doesn't matter. It's still on cooldown for 3 minutes. So they know Jakiro's down for good, although probably one of, if not the least important hero to kill off. Maybe Abaddon Scarth Mage take that, but I'm not exactly sure. If it was the Templar Assassin or Slaughter, that's huge. But other than that, it's pretty much just the status quo maintained.
Right, so what can either team do to try to break this? mYinsanity, they have to feel a little bit more comfortable in taking these fights, but they're so reliant on the Ancient Apparition ult and the Venomancer ult to actually land that if they take a poorly positioned fight, then they can very easily go down. And Komanda minus, I have no idea what they can do. Like, they just have to try to bring down someone within a Mystic Flare combo. It's probably their best bet, and now it's going to be them challenged to do that up on top lane because this push is happening. Joey already with the Eye of the Storm up, and there is no Templar Assassin nearby. They're going to sack Raxes? Sure.
Yeah, okay, so that just happened. That's a full set of barracks going the way of mYinsanity with no fight. BKB pop by Joey. Now Insolent also popping BKB. Everybody's yellow and glowing, but it looks like that's not going to net them anything. The sprint forward by Insolent shouldn't be able to do much unless he bashes Slark. Oh, the crush. Just a little bit too long. Abaddon is going to be forced to proc his ultimate, but now they're going to continue the chase onto Razor. Joey, without BKB, is going to eat a little bit of damage from the Mystic Flare. Now with the Crush, they should be able to kill off the Razor, but the Slark is able to kill off the TA in the meantime inside the middle lane, so it doesn't even matter. They get barracks, and that's 2 clean lanes going the way of mYinsanity.
Templar Assassin trying to go for the Hail Mary, trying to kill off the Dire Ancient because it has been exposed, so much exposure, because the mid lane Raxes dropped so long ago, but ended up trading her life for it. Does have a buyback if need be, and I think it is going to be needed just because mYinsanity, they don't have their Razor for another 75, and honestly, they don't really need the Razor at this point, but they might just want to go for Roshan next. Roshan, unknown respawn time for now. Don't really know when that's going to be coming back up, but maybe it's just going to be both sides waiting for their full 5-man squads, and by the time that happens, you got to favor mYinsanity again. It's just been working out so very well for them. Really, the only reason that they, I feel, got that Razor kill was because everyone else TP'd away back to base.
Yeah, and Razor just missed the memo. Minute until Roshan. mYinsanity have venomous plague wards inside the pit, and no TA traps means that they should be able to take this before Komanda minus do, and that's going to be another Aegis cheese for them. Slark, 6,000 gold. He might just be saving that slot for an Aegis. I honestly have no idea. I think it's about time to ship away those power treads for a pair of boots of travel. But either way, Sky Solution also going to be cleaned up. It's going to deny them the vision of the Roshan very quickly. And now Icy Vortex is going to take the place of the Plague Ward, but still mYinsanity exerting their control over that portion of the map.
So if you're Komanda minus, are you considering a Rapier right now on Templar Assassin?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think I would agree with that. She has her Courier at the shop, but it's packing a Quarterstaff, and as far as I know, Quarterstaff doesn't build into a Divine Rapier unless that changed as well, but they need a Hail Mary right now, like the ultimate of Hail Mary, like teleporting in, backdooring the Ancient, or something like that is going to be the caliber of play that they have to make if they want to come back into this game and actually win it. And this is, by the way, guys, like they took Raxes at 30-something minutes, 40 minutes, and we can see how much it's actually bothered mYinsanity up till now. Roshan is now alive, and mYinsanity are going to make a beeline for that. Komanda minus, I think they're going to realize that Roshan is alive because suddenly everyone's off the map, and they will try to contest. But this could be the last fight of the game, as Hawkeye's leading the way. There is no Abaddon here. Poison has his hands full, dealing with the bottom lane. mYinsanity's Mitch is going to be the first one. No Ice Path is going to connect onto Noah. Now Hawkeye isolated from the rest, but it's going to be Yes Piece to get silenced. Very quickly brought down with the cleave damage onto Joey as well. Mikonia and Insolent doing quite a bit in this fight. All Eyes on Me still getting bashed down by Roshan. It's going to be Jakiro dying to Roshan, in fact, and they get a stun onto All Eyes. Where's the Mystic Flare? Not quite there yet. And now into the Shadow Dance. Slark is going to chase down Mikonia. Poison in the front lines, trying to draw attention away from his allies. But Templar Assassin is going to go down. Slaughter is going to go down. They both have buyback. Mystic Flare now finally in the back end is going to kill off Joey in the end, but it's going to be pure evil to fall. That's a 5-for-2 trade in favor of mYinsanity. Buybacks galore are going to be needed from Komanda minus, else they just straight up lose the game. But Razor's even going to buy back as well. mYinsanity, they're going to try to go for the jugular right now, and I think they might be able to pull it off.
Buyback from the Abaddon. It hasn't been enough to repel them now, and they're going to go for the Mega Creeps. We might yet be able to see those new models. Insolent jumping in for a stun, going to perch up by All Eyes on Me. Now Kikoni joining the fray. His buyback is actually a little bit scarier for mYinsanity. It is going to be a 4v3. But this 3 is probably the best 3 they could hope for, but still the melee barracks being focused. Slark's going to be forced to back out immediately. Goni's back in the front, and it's still just an awkward dance. Both teams want to secure these structures. Jump in. They will be able to land a stun. All Eyes on Me, but again, it's Dark Pacted off. Doesn't actually stick, and All Eyes on Me, he might be able to just suicide for this Rax, and he has buyback even if he does die. Melee barracks very low, pounds to the backline, found Kikoni, going to be able to stun him up, and now focusing him down. He is stunned by the Slaughter with the BKB. Kikoni is going to be able to very slowly make his way back towards base. Melee barracks have already fallen, range barracks soon after, and if it wasn't already Rapier time, they really need it now, but there's nobody to buy it, not enough gold. There's Mega Creeps.
And Komanda minus, they're struggling so hard to try to fight just mYinsanity's 5 heroes. They can't do the 5 heroes plus Mega Creeps. All Eyes is going to try to jump forward for Kikoni one last time. Insolent, the BKB, is going to be on zoning duty for now. All Eyes taking quite a bit of damage. He doesn't have a Shadow Dance. He might go down here, but he has buyback. He doesn't really care. And Mitch is going to land another nice ultimate on everyone from Komanda minus. Buybacks galore from mYinsanity. Insolent still alive, going to travel out of that situation from his own base. Venomancer picks off the Abaddon in the end, but soon the base of Komanda minus is going to be flooded with these Mega Creeps that look so damn good. My god, those look dangerous. And this should be Komanda minus very soon to be tapping out.
Yeah. I don't know. They're going to hold on to the last breath because they do not want to be dropped in this lower bracket match. So we'll just have to see how it's going to work out for them. Tier 4 towers being focused by All Eyes on Me as well as by Joey. They will leave it with one attack there, and then they will take it. Eul Scepter, Ice Path coming out from the Jakiro, but it's only a last-ditch effort. Will it actually work? They stun up Slark, but he's able to purge it off. Still seeing inside the Mystic Flare, taking a lot of damage since he is silenced, and he will be able to make his way towards the backlines of the fight, but the Slaughter is down for 120. Now jump in, Echo Slam, as well as the E-Blade onto Hawkeye and Venom Hancer ultimate onto the Sky Archmage inside the base, and All Eyes on Me with his ultimate's able to die, make it a full 5-man wipe, and GG called out as it's going to be mYinsanity to take it. After a really shaky start, it seems they just need a warm-up game. They're going to take it 2-1.
Wow. I mean, that was some Game 3. Game 1 was pretty straightforward. Game 2 was pretty straightforward. Game 3 was absolutely sick. And mYinsanity are the ones to take it. They're going to remain in the Battle of Central Europe, whereas for Komanda minus, they are going to be out, but I mean, they impressed everyone in the group stages. They took that one absolutely by storm, and though they are one of the first teams to get eliminated, they still have impressed me thoroughly. So I'm going to be looking forward to Komanda Minus a little bit down the line in the future. But that's going to be it, guys, for us here on HeflaTV. If you like the cast, and we sincerely hope you did, then be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, where we're HeflaTV. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V. Any last words, man?
A great series to start and end the day with. Yeah, both teams, they showed their colors, and I am excited to see Command Minus in the future. They surprised me, and hopefully they surprised you as well. And it's always fun to watch the Bulgarians in the chat.
All right, guys, we're out. Again, we hope you enjoyed the cast, and there's going to be more Battle Central Europe in the upcoming days, so be sure to stay tuned for that one. GG, guys.